Welcome and thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the Beyond 50 radio program. I'm Daniel Davis. As many of you have followed our show over the years, you know that we like to present many healing modalities to have you get to optimum health. On the program today, we're going to be talking about something that I find very interesting and certainly that I don't believe I've heard of before. It is known as a full-body elixir, which is a fun mix of yoga, qigong, deep breathing, and isometrics in a slow flow of practical love and active kindness. On the program today, we're going to be talking about the full-body elixir specialist by day and also her son at night who works with people on learning how to use lucid dreaming. I'd like to welcome to the Beyond 50 radio program today our guests, Callie O'Neill and Noah Eads. Welcome, both of you, to the program today.
Aloha, thank you.
Aloha, hello.
Now, this is about as exciting as I get. So now, what's this fun fusion here? I was thinking more enthusiasm, but I guess Hawaii just kind of takes that out of you by the coast, huh?
It is a fun fusion. It could be called a mashup, and it was a slow evolutionary process in my own healing, realizing that traditional or rigid yoga wasn't helping me. And I had many challenges, spinal, joint, all kinds of challenges, and that this slow meditation and discovery of moving in small ways and then moving in fluid ways and studying Qigong allowed this practice called the full body elixir to evolve. And it's a moving meditation. In Tibetan, such a practice would be called Lusyong, giving people both the benefits of a seated meditation, but while they're moving and energizing and strengthening and cleansing their system.
Now, Noah, do you help incorporate lucid dreaming practices into this full-body elixir?
I do separate meditation practices. I'm not exactly incorporated into her practice, no.
So there's a line definitely in the sand. You're either doing this or that, then it sounds like.
That's why we call it. We call our retreat 24-hour retreat.
Now, tell us how you came up with this practice. I know you described it a little bit because of your own ailments, but sometimes you'll see how people will fuse things together and come up with what seems to be something new and unique.
Well, this practice, again, it came from having so much physical pain that I literally had to ask whenever I moved, ask my own body, is this okay and is this okay? And then once I had seen my x-rays and all kinds of other magnetic resonance imaging, I knew what I had to do in my body. I had to get it to the point where I was restoring my curves in my back, strengthening my joints, building my musculature up again. And as it turns out, this flow just kept evolving and evolving as I've studied with so many healers and therapists and chiropractors and osteopaths. And on the Big Island of Hawaii, you have many, many healers. So I've been able to incorporate many things, and most particularly the Diamond Logos work and from my spiritual teacher, Faisal Mukadam. So there's a lot of consciousness work in it, too. It's literally, as all yoga is, a whole technique to dissolve the stresses in one's nervous system. Mm-hmm. And then by repeating that over and over every day, every morning, cleaning the system, it allows the system to recharge and reinvigorate because, as we know, bodies are self-healing, self-regulating, and they're able to regenerate themselves when we just get the stresses, the tensions, the constrictions of the flow of energy out of the body. It allows the chi to flow in the body in an even, balanced, and harmonious way.
Now, you've worked with a lot of people over the years, and I know that you started teaching in 1997, which is quite a long time. Tell us about some of the things that you've experienced in helping others to be able to achieve some of the goals or outcomes that you've had, and what that was like for you.
Well, it's a continuous surprise and delight that which helps me so much, and the cumulative effects of the full body elixir, I feel really happy and I'm much healthier and stronger. And it's a surprise that ongoing, this helps everyone that does it. So people might leave the practice on the beach for an hour and a half without shoulder pain they've had for 2 years, and they're stunned, and then they come back, and then they bring their wife, and, things roll on. I've had people tell me that they've healed themselves of lupus and healed themselves of back pain and all kinds of things, and it's not the practice so much, it's the person doing the practice, with a totally positive mindset. But, one of the contemplations that's at the heart of the full body elixir is, we were never taught to be a peaceful, positive, happy, healthy presence in our own bodies. So that's what the full body elixir is. It's a repeated practice where that becomes operational in the nervous system.
Well, it sounds very unique and dynamic at the same time, because it's like we come into this world in that childlike state, and then we learn all the things that don't make us feel that way that we used to feel. And this sounds like it's a way of kind of making sure that we release all that stuff, unlearning it, in other words.
Exactly. Yeah, where I come from is the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area, and we were taught to be a stressy presence, a hard-working presence, a productive presence, an unconscious presence, a conversation in the head, anything but, a happy, healthy, joyous, powerful presence in our own bodies. People are kind of more like talking heads where I come from, and it's all changing. Everyone's evolving.
Thankfully enough. Now, Noah, you've been active in lucid dreaming for how long?
About 5 years now.
Now, is this something that you do every night, or does it just kind of come and go and you just kind of participate in it when it does? Or tell us about this skill and what lucid dreaming is.
Yeah, definitely. So I first heard about lucid dreaming after having some nightmares and some unpleasant dreams. And I was talking to my mom about them, and she just told me that I could become lucid and conscious of my dreaming and change the dream scene. And this blew my mind, and she opened the door for me to check out some of Stephen LaBerge works, who's one of the major...
Him, yes.
Excuse me?
I said very familiar with him, yes.
Yeah, definitely the popularizer of lucid dream. And then I started reading some of his books and looking at the techniques. But it really took me a while to kind of hone into my own set of skills and techniques and practices. So for a while I would fly it blind, and I would do as much as I could to become lucid, but it would still, come occasionally or randomly. And now I've honed in these particular techniques and induction techniques, including wake back to bed, mild and wild, and incorporated them into my my sleeping life. And now I'm having regular success.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are the benefits of getting someone to be able to, first of all, get to a level of a lucid dream experience, as opposed to also having them regularly, like you seem to be having?
What is the difference between those two?
Between, the lucid dreaming experience, the random one, and helping someone to get to a point where they have a regular lucid experience once they achieve it, that is, that you've been having.
Right.
What would be the benefit of that, in other words?
I guess the benefit of having a regular, sleep schedule instead of induction techniques to get you lucid on a regular basis would be to really delve deep into the world of lucid dreaming, because you can become lucid randomly, and it feels so good to be a part of the process of creating the lucid dream. And beyond that, once you become familiar with the lucid dream and with the environment, you can exert a larger amount of, I don't want to say control, but I guess control is a word I would use. And you can become familiar with the dream characters, and you can ask for specific guidance from, some of your heroes, and play out certain scenarios, and really get comfortable with the dream environment and increase your recall, etc.
Now, do you use the full body elixir that your mother teaches and try to heighten your lucid experience?
It's definitely a conscious body experience, and I think the line in the sand, like you were saying, is being conscious during the day and being conscious in your body and in your mind during the day. And I guess I'm more on the being conscious in my body and in my mind in my dream body, during the night. So it can definitely be used to bring in consciousness into the body and into the waking state that can move into the lucid dreaming state as well.
Very well put. Now, Callie, how does all this incorporate into how a person's life changes?
You mean both practices?
Sure.
I mean, I think people have the ability right now to change on a dime. And I notice that when I'm teaching on the beach, which I do 3 times a week at Lava Lava Beach Club on the Big Island, people only need to hear the truth now. And suddenly they change, and all the little things they start to do. Somebody yesterday, I was not telling them to go off particular medication for bone density, but she said, I realized that I could do that, and I could do all these other things. So I think little things can start to change immediately for people, and everybody wants to be healthy. To be happy, we have to be healthy, and we all want to be healthy, happy, and we all want to leave our mark on the world, to be of service. So when we're feeling good and we have high energy, people say I have a really, really high energy. To me, it's just this is my energy level. Life is fun, and when life is fun, we tend to be more loving to other people, more kind to our family, and the words that we speak are brilliant. We can hold back when we need to. Oh, he couldn't hear me now. I could wait till tomorrow to say that,
Mm-hmm.
We become more patient and, wonderful human beings. I think that how to be in a body, that's, my specialty. I hope to be like Indra Devi, in a great advertisement when I'm 100 for what I'm doing and practicing. Mm-hmm. It surely feels good.
And it's very exciting the way you put that too, Callie, because it reminds me of what it's like to be in love, that first time. And you just feel like you're just floating on the wind, nothing bothers you, and everything is possible. But this is really a state that we can all get to on our own without having to be in love with someone else and be there on a relatively regular basis, isn't it?
Because, our hearts don't really long for someone else's attention.
Right.
Your heart longs for your attention. And we weren't taught, how do I actually give my heart my attention? Oh, my heart lives inside my lung trees, and it's nestled there. So there's this whole range of skills and experiences that we can learn that is very much like that, where our body longs for our attention, our being longs for our attention. Our heart, our lungs long for our attention, but we were taught to give it to everyone else.
Mm-hmm. And we certainly spend a good portion of the early part of our lives looking to get, the affection, the attention, and, of course, I'm trying to think of the right word, it's just not coming to me right now, the acceptance, I believe it is, of other people and other people's views of who we are. So we kind of stepped outside of ourselves to say, why don't you tell me if I'm okay or not?
Right. Yeah, this programming and conditioning, most all of it, if we look at the triangle of learning, most of it happens before we're born in utero, and the rest of it happens at age 7. And Noah will tell you I'm completely motivated by taking back my nights now. And I'm both Noah's worst student and his most enthusiastic, because that time that we can spend at night, how we sleep, determines how we feel in the morning.
Oh, yes. And that's what I wanted to get to, too, as you were describing all of that, Callie, is the idea that you hear a lot of people nowadays speaking a language that's been around for a long time, but it's funny how things will come back around and they seem new. And that is the precept that we become our thoughts. So everybody's starting to say, hey, pay attention to what you're thinking and feeling and all that, and address it in reality. But what's interesting about the work you do, Noah, with lucid dreaming is you talked about how you started off having a series of nightmares. How do you view nightmares now when it comes to your experience, and if, in fact, you actually even have them anymore?
Yeah, I love nightmares. They're super easy to become
They're a lot of
lucid
fun,
in.
aren't they? I've got some wild ones I love sharing with people, like tornado dreams, for instance. Oh, do I love tornado dreams. Because you make that one tornado's coming at you, and it was big, bad, and ugly, but there's another one sitting on standby, and I'll just sit or tidal waves, all of that stuff. It's just amazing what you can really do in the dream world, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even joking when I say I love them, because it's so easy to become lucid when you have some of these experiences, especially for someone who has reoccurring nightmares, specific events that happen to them in their nightly endeavors. And they don't even need to be nightmare-related as well. They can also just be dream signs, things that occur every night that you can kind of practice to become aware of and then become lucid in. Yeah, another point with nightmares as well is that once you do become lucid after a nightmare occurs, you can deal with the problem in I guess, creative ways, such as I had a lucid dream where, at first I wasn't lucid, and this monster shows up, and he's really grotesque, and he has snot, and he's hairy and smelly and big, and this big kind of ogre.
Something you'd find in a Halo video game, in other words.
Yeah, something like that. And I was scared. I was petrified.
Not that I play the game, but it was the only one I could think of.
And I become lucid, and instead, my first thought was run away. You can do whatever you want. It's your dream now. Just run away. And then I kind of stopped myself and took a deep breath, and I just asked him why he was here and what he was doing, and I just reached out my arms and gave him a big hug, and he kind of absorbed into my body, and I realized he was a part of myself that I had been neglecting. And just so many types of experiences like that can come about of healing in the dream world, because we're really interacting with so many parts of ourselves, whether we're fighting them or whether we're running away from them or stressed out by them or any of the nightmare scenarios. It's such a healing environment to work with.
And it's unlimited, too, and I can see how, for instance, you might have a waking experience. You might be at a job that you don't like so much, and that translates into the dream world as something almost out of control, or it's tremendously out of control, and you realize, wait a minute, if I can settle this down and I can put this into a perspective and an experience that I would like to truly have, then you're more apt with confidence to take that into the waking world and actually apply it, because the two worlds really are one and the same, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And once one experiences a kind of clarity-filled lucid dream or a hyper-realistic lucid dream, they realize that this world, that this waking reality that we're living in, can be surpassed by the mental image of our mind. We're literally in a virtual reality in our mind that is so beyond any comparison. I remember having lucid dreams where everything is just sparkling and everything sounds amazing, and there's just this hyper realism. And I wanted to get back to as well what you're talking about with work kind of evolving into the dream world and shaping the dream world. And the same thing happens with the dream world shaping our waking world. So depending on what our dream content is during the night, people say you're waking up on the wrong side of the bed, and that's totally valid, except usually when you say you're waking up on the wrong side of the bed, it means you don't remember your dreams and you just feel really, really bad in the morning. So the steps taken to be a lucid dreamer, through recall and this familiarity with the dream world, it's really become aware of what happens in our dream world and how that is affecting our waking lives. A lot of us, have these really intrusive alarms, and we wake up and we have to get going. We think about our days, don't even think about our dreams and how we feel in the morning. Yeah.
You can see if you're getting up feeling bad, then while you're awake, so you might as well go see Callie and get some yoga and all that going on, and you'll have better dreams and realize it wasn't that you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, but you woke up without a bed at all. So.
Or
yes,
you can
definitely.
go back to bed and have a lucid dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you write down your dreams in the morning, you can at least interpret what it is that is making you feel the way you are. And especially with lucid dreaming, you can change what that dream scenario is. And when I do have lucid dreams, I feel great in the morning. I'm ready to wake up at 6 or 4 in the morning because I'm so happy about the dream content that you can create in a lucid dream.
I think what's really also important for people to note, because we get so hung up, especially as we age, that time is somehow running out. It isn't like we were when we were, say, Noah's age, where it seemed like we just had an eternity, so we could just kind of put things off that we feel we wanted to do, but now we get older and realize, well, we better start doing these things or we're going to regret that we never did them. And when you take a look at what the two of you share with the world, how you actually work with people, I think one of the key elements that I'm hearing really coming through both of you is that you teach people how to slow time down. In other words, take control of their own personal time. And I know, Callie, that really came through as you were describing your East Coast raising, that idea of micromanaging your whole day until the only thing left is, do I have time to breathe in and out at least for a minute and take a bath?
Right.
But there was I think it was a Chinese philosophy or something like that. Years ago I had read that they had felt that we all have the same amount of time here on planet Earth, barring fate that might cause an untimely death. But the idea was, because of this, what they learned through, I think it was actually Qigong or something like that, they learned how to stretch and slow time down. Now, on the one hand, I'll address Noah with this idea through dreaming is, if you have those experiences where you wake up in the morning and it's, say, before work, and you've got maybe an hour before you have to really get up to go to work, and so you go, well, I got some time to sleep. You go to sleep, and it feels like you've been asleep for hours. You wake up again, and you realize only 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or 2 minutes have passed by.
Right.
But it feels like hours. Your body even feels restfully invigorated the same way. And then you look at what you do, Callie, and it's the same way. You're cleaning all that stuff out. You're actually relaxing the nerves and slowing time down. Now, correct me, either of you two, if I'm wrong, but would that be a fair perception to talk about your work in that way?
Go ahead, Noah.
Callie, I would think that you would have more experience to take this one first.
Okay.
No, I'm Go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, I am the master of the beat the clock rhythm, so I do have a lot of experience in that. And, I have a burgeoning career right now and major projects, so I do feel and I know from experience that setting the atmosphere in the morning as soon as one arises of presence in the moment, regardless of how many tasks need to be done that day, that presence expands us into the now, which of course is timeless. It's always now, as Eckhart Tolle says, the past happened in the now and the future happens in the now. So the eternal present moment goes on and on and on, which is why it scares the little chatterbox egoic mind in the conversation. For me, I realized I love that Hindu story of you have only so many breaths in this lifetime, and you may use them any way you wish, fast and intense, and I'm so much smarter and righter than you are, or deep and slow. So we can never breathe in the past, or the future. So I rely on my breathing constantly. If some old little program in me jumps out from New York City or Brooklyn or New Jersey, I rely on breathing in this moment. It's like, it's okay. Everything's okay. In this moment, I pause. That's the most compassionate mantra that I know is, in this moment, I pause.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Noah?
Yeah, I'd like to start with just saying, I think most people know this, but we spend a third of our life sleeping, and we spend 11% of our lives actually dreaming. And, I think every single morning when I wake up and recall the dream, I literally need to pull these dreams out of the void or out of the time machine. And I feel that I'm gaining time every time I recall these memories that I forgot in the morning. As well, like you were saying, in a lucid dream, I've had a lot of lucid dreams where I do everything I can possibly imagine, like fly dragons, fly around, breathe underwater, I don't know, anything, and only 3 minutes goes by. So definitely the ability to stretch time in the dream world and through recalling dream memories is huge.
I think, too, what's nice is to kind of get away from the idea of the modern world standards of, trying to be, it's important to be at places on time and that sort of a thing, but like in my house, we really don't have clocks anywhere, okay? The other thing, too, is it's probably been almost 30 years or better that I've never used an alarm clock to get up, but, for instance, my wife says, can you be sure we can be up by 8:30? Sure. Sure enough. Hey, it's time to get up. It's like, how do you know that? But it's somehow, the interesting thing, especially about the practice that you have, Noah, is that you begin developing and honing an extra sensory skill or set of skills, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I use the same trick all the time when I want to do my induction technique. Usually 6 hours after sleeping, I tell myself to wake up and do my induction technique, and I usually wake up right on the dot. I usually tell myself to wake up at 4, and I'll wake up at 3:59 or 4:03 or anything like that.
But it feels nice to sort of arrive where you're supposed to, exactly when you're supposed to, right? With that freedom
definitely.
of not feeling hurried around. And I know you'd agree with that, wouldn't you, Callie?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's important for someone like me who has to wake up early, because if I practice, I'm all good during the day, is Noah makes these wonderful alarms that one doesn't have to move to shut off. So it's an alarm that says, this is a dream. And it has a few sounds, and it's a wonderful alarm where it just says, this is a dream, and then it goes off by itself, because the moment that I wake up and I have to touch an alarm, the dream, I can actually feel it withdraw. So that kind of balance, we can have that kind of balance with the aid of technology. It's like, oh yeah, before I wake up, what's important is for me to be in this dream and remember this dream.
Mm-hmm. I know I used to have fun with that many years ago where my alarm clock would actually just bring in music. And there was nothing more enjoyable than setting that clock in just the way, volume-wise, that it would actually incorporate itself into the dream world. And that was always a pleasant way to wake up.
That's wise. Yeah, that's fabulous.
Now, here's another fun one for you, Noah. If you ever feel like you want to take a nap later in the day, when I used to work in manufacturing many, many years ago, as I'd come home, I'd turn on the 5 o'clock news, turn it at just the right volume, and then I'd go to sleep. And there's nothing wilder than experiencing the 5 o'clock news in the dream world. you don't take the news so seriously after that. Oh, this is great stuff. Now, is there a website people can find out more about your work and how to contact you and learn more about what all this is about?
Yes, the website that both of us are using now, Noah is in the process of developing his lucid dreaming website, is Callie O'Neill Yoga. And we both teach, and we teach together, and we each teach separately, and we do an annual retreat, for example, in July in Oregon.
Okay.
We love Brighton Bush Hot Springs with a passion, so we teach around 4th of July each year, and people can find out about it. One thing I'd like to share about the Full Body Elixir is that my passion is not just reaching the people that love yoga, because they love this. It's a vacation from, we have a lot of conventions about yoga and what we think about yoga, which in the new book, The Goddess Pose, just blows all of that out of the water of what we think is, the lineage back. It's really something that's about 150 years old that in and of itself is a mashup of East and West. But in this flow, anybody can do this, and my passion is to, reach the people that are stressed or overweight or think they can't or think they're too old or, all
kinds of... They just don't feel they're smiling as much as they used to.
Right, and that in and of itself, we know, changes your physiology completely.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating stuff. I want to thank both of you for joining us here on the program today and sharing this. I know there's so much more we can talk about here, but that's what... You can talk all day about something, but you really have to have direct experience, and I know that you two would adamantly say, yes, that's the stamp that we need people to understand. You can talk all day, but you really have to experience this to know what the experience is like.
Yeah, practice is everything. Whatever we practice, we become.
I like that. And they can practice by taking their fingers, getting to the keyboard, and typing in the website again?
Yes, it's Callie O'Neill Yoga, CALLEYONEILL yoga.com. Yeah, we'd love to hear from anyone listening. We'd love to reach out and meet new people, especially in our beloved Portland area.
Very good. Well, Callie, Noah, thank you so much for joining us here on the Beyond 50 radio program.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for having us. Aloha. Keep up your great work.
Thank you very much, and we want to thank you, the listeners out there, for tuning in. You also can find out more by visiting us at beyond50radio.com. That is the number 50, and also sign up for our exclusive e-news updates. I'm Daniel Davis. Thank you for tuning in, and remember, live your day past halfway.